When you have a high self-worth, you are far less worried about the rejection piece of it because you're not rejecting yourself.
Oh,
because we have this underlying belief that I am not lovable or worthy of love, or that I'm not going to be chosen. And so if you have that underlying belief, then yeah, you would protect the parts of you that can be vulnerable to be rejected, to reaffirm the belief you already have. And when you can heal that part of you, when you start to share vulnerably and truthfully, and you're proud of yourself for how you're showing up in that way, whether they reject you, accept you, love you, hate you, whatever, it's far less about them. Because if they don't value you for the actual version of you, it's not a rejection of you. It is a misguided place where you're putting your energy. And so you'll know that's not the place for me. Like, it's mirroring back their own insecurities and lack of self-worth or lack of growth. For me, that looked like a lot of hearing, I just can't give you what you need or you deserve, right? And I'm like, yeah, truth, fair. Actually, thank you so much for being honest.
Yes. I'm like, men are so honest. Would you guys just listen?
But yeah, it's not complicated. And I had this situationship that lingered far too long. Say that to me multiple times, and my healer fixer was like, oh, that's a challenge. I need to love him more so that he loves himself enough to receive my love, and then I will have healed him and all will be great. Until I finally actually stopped with that narrative and that story, that it was any different than what he was saying to me, that he could not, you could replace could not with he was choosing not to give me what I deserve, and whatever story he made up of deservedness, right? Like, it's all in his head. When I recognize I am not responsible for another man's self-worth or another person's self-worth, it's not my job to make you feel loved and deserving if you don't already feel that way. I'm here to enhance what you already believe about yourself and be a mirror back to you, even in the good parts. And if you have a shitty mirror already, then this is going to actually be detrimental to the work that I've done trying to save you.
Yes. And when you were saying that, it made me think of something that yesterday I was pondering on. And I think this shows up in a lot of women. I don't want to necessarily say maybe religion, but I'll connect to mine because it came from religion. Is I realized I had this subconscious belief. It was talking about like when you're pushing away the very thing that you desire, right? And I realized that I had the subconscious belief that I was gonna have to sacrifice myself to be in a relationship. And I think that's wiring and firing. And like as I've been watching TikTok and watching people talk about religion, I'm like, that's wiring and firing in a lot more people than they're actually aware of. And it's not that you don't give or do anything for that person, but you don't have to sacrifice who you are. And when you actually embody that you are free and you have the permission to show up fully as you are, because we all want the person that feels free to show up as themselves, right? That's where your connection happens. So the very thing that we're desiring, the very thing that we're wanting, we're taking away from ourselves, because it's like we do put a mask on of like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to sacrifice something, right? Because coming from religion, coming from a marriage where it was that codependency where I felt like I was sacrificing, now to be in a relationship and be like, wait, you're saying I don't have to sacrifice myself to be with you? And that's where a lot of the things that have come up of like, I hear that, the standards thing of like, well, my standards are too high. I don't think it's that you believe your standards are too high. You're just afraid you have to sacrifice part of yourself to be with that person.
Or that the standards are keeping so many people away, and you have the illusion that there should be a lot of people interested in you to get more choices.
Yes.